Hello, everyone. I'm Cheldin Bartlett-Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. How are you doing, Taquan? You doing well? We have an amazing new guest here in our studio. I'd love for him to introduce himself, his first and last name, and the name of his book.
Cheldin, I'm Louis Bezich,
Yes.
and I'm the author of Crack the Code, 10 Proven Secrets That Motivate Healthy Behaviors and Inspire Fulfillment in Men Over 50.
Now, okay, so this is a specific thing, my Louis. This is a specific thing.
Okay.
Men over 50 in particular.
Yes, well, that's
Tell me why.
that's the prism, because men over 50 are probably the worst cohort in this country in terms of healthy behavior.
Really?
And also, I happen to be a man over 50 myself.
Gosh,
I don't
okay.
make
So
it look like
you
it,
don't. You don't. Louis is looking well. He's
But
looking
if you can address
Yeah.
the needs of men over 50 in terms
Right.
of motivating them to live healthy.
Interesting.
Okay, because
Yeah.
when I studied men over 50, my premise is that we have so much to live for in this world, right? We're in the
Yes.
second half of the game of life,
Yes.
and we've got, whether it be an encore career or
Yeah.
grandchildren or other big events in our lives.
Yeah.
You think we would say to ourselves, well, the common denominator here is to stay healthy, to enjoy all this, and to live a long and fulfilling life.
Yeah.
But guess what?
What?
We don't. We do
don't.
just the opposite.
Right.
We become very sedentary, neglect our health, and consequently, unfortunately, we die among younger than women, and we have more chronic disease in women.
Really?
So I think if you can solve the issues and motivate men,
Yeah.
that the same principles can apply to everybody, both men
absolutely-
and women of all ages.
I absolutely love it. Now, tell me the why. Like, was this particularly about your own experience, or did you see this as a trend? Tell me why this book was important for you
Well,
to
this
write.
is for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, my own personal experience.
Okay.
When I was a much younger man, I was a single dad and raising two boys under my roof.
Okay.
And I really wanted to be there for them.
right,
And so
yeah.
I had a lot of stress going on with the boys as well as my career and just
Yeah.
getting ahead. And so I was under a lot of stress. So I
Yeah.
found myself gravitating to initially exercise and then diet because I wanted to be there for those boys. Those boys were my motivation.
Yeah.
Subsequently, when they went off to college and lives
Yeah.
of their own,
Yeah.
I found that what started as a coping mechanism became a passion for me.
Oh, I love
And I
that.
wanted to know whether or not there were other guys out there
Yeah.
who experienced the same thing I did.
Okay,
And at the
fair.
same time, I was getting into healthcare as a healthcare executive,
Love
and I
that.
saw that, the alarming statistics that says that barely 3% of the entire population in this country leads a healthy lifestyle.
Wait, what was it? 3?
Barely 3% of
Barely
Americans, men and women
3.
of all ages, lead a healthy lifestyle. That's alarming.
That is alarming. Barely.
And then on top of that, what's
Yeah.
really hitting the country now is that upwards of 60% of the population is classified as either overweight or obese. So we've got
60%.
60%, yes.
Wow, these
So-
numbers are alarming.
So while we spend more on healthcare in this country than
Yeah.
any other country in the world by
Right.
far,
Right.
we don't get much for that.
We don't get much for it. It's more gimmicky, would you say, than it is?
Well, the issue is that, we have magnificent healthcare in this
Yeah.
country, right? But the issue is that the factor that has the greatest impact on our health
Yeah.
is not our access to healthcare. It's not the
Right.
technology.
Yeah.
It's not the doctors.
Yeah.
It's our own behavior.
It's our own
And so the
behavior.
key and the focus of the book is
Yeah.
how can we motivate individuals, and again, my prism here is men over 50,
Yeah,
to
for
live
sure.
a healthy lifestyle, because I would suggest that the contemporary approaches have failed. And
Yeah.
because of those statistics, have failed miserably. So we
Awful.
need a new approach, one that's based on, before we buy the gym membership or do the exercise equipment or,
Yeah.
or whatever, or try the new latest fad diet,
Yes,
go
yes.
further what I call upstream.
Ooh, love
and,
that.
and find your why, find your purpose in life.
I
Because the
absolutely love
men that I interviewed,
Yeah.
those tough 50-plus men that
Yeah.
are not known for their willingness to change their behavior
Right.
and embrace change, right?
Right.
Those men, their motivation for healthy behavior
Yeah.
is the end game. It's their social aspirations.
Right, so
Right?
it's tapping into that.
It's tapping into the
Love
end
that.
game.
Love that.
Healthy behavior is a means to an end.
Is a means to an end. So the motivation, I think there's a mental mindset that's involved in that, right? And like
Absolutely.
attacking that head on. For you, it was your boys,
Yes.
being able to say, okay, I want to be there for them. I am a slightly older mom, so I'm 42 and my son is 2. I have an 8-year-old as well. So when I'm thinking about how to be healthy and how to prolong and be there for him, not only at the soccer games, but be there for his children, right?
Exactly.
These are motivating factors as opposed to, I don't want that donut. It's more of a
Right.
situation where you're thinking about things in a different way.
Right, and you also want to set a good impression for those children, right?
Yes.
The other unfortunate thing is that when we lead an unhealthy lifestyle, we
100%.
convey that to the next generation. And that's got to stop.
Just based on the
That's gotta
observation
stop.
of how
Yes.
we're living.
Well, they
not
see
even
how
what
their
we're saying.
parents are living.
Yeah.
And they ultimately mimic
Wow.
that behavior. And so we've got to stop that.
Talk to me about the interview process. Talk to me about meeting and sitting down with these gentlemen, and what that was like. Were they forthcoming as it relates to this information? Were they hesitant in sharing it? What was the process like?
No, it was a tremendous process.
Yeah.
They were very forthcoming and very willing to share.
Yeah.
And they told me their stories.
Yeah.
Because in addition to surveying 1,000 healthy men over 50 nationwide through a
Wow.
survey, I wanted to get an idea what this healthy behavior looks like on the ground floor,
Fair.
day to day.
Fair.
And so they told me stories about walking around the block a couple times a week with their spouse.
Oh.
Because women are a big part
Yes.
of men's health.
Right.
Right? They told
You're
me
welcome.
about wanting to swim in the ocean with their grandchildren, or playing golf with friends and such. So they
Right.
what they often do is they combine their social aspirations with their healthy behaviors.
How interesting is that? Because to look at it medically, or to look at it to say, okay, these are the things you need to do to be healthy, but the fact that you incorporated and really saw that overarching line that was more based on social interactions, right?
Absolutely.
What am I able to do if I am in fact healthy?
Right. And you're seeing in the healthcare industry today,
Oh,
you're seeing much more activity in the social sphere, meaning that physicians now in medical school, when they're getting their training, are taught what's called motivational interviewing, which means, Mr. Jones, instead of just having that clinical conversation,
Right.
what do you aspire for your life, Mr. Jones or Mrs. Smith? Where do you want to be in the next 10 years? Because if you live healthy, that's the goal you'll get to. So
Wonderful.
that's what we need to talk about.
Talking about the motivation.
Absolutely.
Talking about the motivation, doing it specifically for men over 50, but it applies to all of us just based on the fact that we are all living this emotional life and we want to live our best life in the most social settings as possible. I find this book to be absolutely wonderful, and I'm so happy that you were able to join us. If people want this book, you need, let's be honest, you need this book, you need to share it. It's a perfect holiday gift, I think.
Absolutely.
If people want to get their hands on this book, where would be the best way to
Amazon or
Yes.
Barnes & Noble online, either one.
I love it.
And if you want to learn more about
Yeah.
the book and what I'm up to, go to
Please.
50plusmen.com.
I absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much, Louis, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Appreciate it.
How amazing is that? Taquan, get on it. Get on it, my friend. You got a little bit of time, but
Right.
we want to point you in the right direction, and our friend here can help you do that. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Cheldin Bartlett-Rumor, and we'll see you soon. Take care.